Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. The current session focuses on the approach and theory of language behind the natural approach. I hope and expect by the end of this session, you would have some understanding of the theoretical underpinnings of the natural approach. Well, my dear students, Krashen and Terrell see communication as the primary function of language, and since their approach focuses on teaching communicative abilities, they refer to the natural approach as an example of communicative approach. The natural approach is similar to other communicative approaches being developed today. This is the claim that Krashen and Terrell made in 1983. Both of them rejected earlier methods of language teaching, such as the Audiolingual Method, which viewed grammar as the central component or part of language or of language teaching. According to Krashen and Terrell, the major problem with these methods, the earlier methods, was that they were built not around actual theories of language acquisition, but theories of something else, for example, the theory of the structure of language. So there are certain similarities and certain dissimilarities that we find between the natural approach and the communicative language approach when it comes to the theoretical paradigm. Unlike proponents of communicative language teaching, Krashen and Terrell give little attention to a theory of language. Indeed, a critic of Krashen suggested that he has no theory of language at all. What Krashen and Terrell do describe about the nature of language is that they emphasize the primacy of or the centrality of meaning. They are of the view that acquisition can take place only when people understand messages in the target language. Yet, despite their avowed communicative approach to language, they view language learning, as do audiolinguists, as mastery of structures by stages. Now, this can be counted as one of the self-contradictory aspect of the natural approach as well. The input hypothesis that is related to this approach states that in order for acquiring to progress to the next stage in the acquisition of the target language, the learners need to understand input that includes a structure that is a part of the next stage. So, though Krashen and Terrell, who are the proponents of the natural approach, they believe that the theoretical paradigm of this a particular approach is that language has the main purpose of communication, but simultaneously they also say, as I have quoted here, that the learners need to understand input language, which includes the structure. So, they do not outrightly, I would say, reject the teaching of structure. However, Krashen and Terrell feel that grammatical structure does not require explicit analysis or attention by the language teacher or by the language learner or in any language teaching materials. So they believe that structures are there and they are to be taught and they are to be learned. However, what they believe in is that there is no need to give any explicit focused attention to these structures. There are certain tenets of the theory. The acquisition learning hypothesis. There are two distinctive ways of developing competence in a second or foreign language. According to them, acquisition is the natural way paralleling first language development in a child. To them, acquisition refers to an unconscious process that involves the naturalistic development of the language proficiency through understanding language and through using language for meaningful communication in the real life context. On the other hand, learning, by contrast to this, refers to a process in which conscious efforts are to be made to develop the language skills. There is a contribution of the monitor hypothesis as well, which contributes and claims that we may call upon learned knowledge to correct ourselves when we communicate, but that conscious learning, that is the learned system, has only this function. In fact, according to the natural approach and the theoretical underpinnings of this approach, three conditions limit the success of the use of the monitor. Number one, time. There must be sufficient time for a learner to choose and to apply a rule that he or she has learned. Secondly, the focus on form. The language user must be focused on correctness or on the form of the output. And thirdly, knowledge of the rules is important. The performer must know the rules. The monitor does best with the rules that are simple in two ways. They must be simple to describe, and they must not require complex movements or rearrangements. The natural order hypothesis, in comparison and contrast to this, provides its own theoretical insights in this regard, and they include, number one, the acquisition of grammatical structures proceeds in a predictable order. So how a learner would learn certain structures, there is an order, a predictable order in them. And also the research shows that certain grammatical structures or morphemes are acquired before others in first language acquisition of English. And a similar natural order is found in second language acquisition as well. According to the naturalistic approach, errors are signs of naturalistic developmental process and during acquisition, but not, of course, during learning, which is a conscious effort. So during the process of acquisition, similar developmental errors occur in learners no matter what their native language is. So basically the claim is that when a learner learns L1, errors are made and they are a sign that the learner is progressing through the acquisition of language. And the proponents of the natural approach believe that the same is the case with L2 as well. As far as the contribution of the input hypothesis is concerned, it claims to explain the relationship between what the learner is exposed to of a language, that is what is the input, and the language acquisition, that is what is the output. The affective filter hypothesis has also contributed towards it, and Krashen sees the learner's emotional state or attitudes as an adjustable filter that freely passes or impedes or blocks input necessary to acquisition. So, the mental state or the emotional state or the psychological state of the learner is very, very important according to this, because this state acts as a filter to let certain items to be acquired or to hamper or to completely stop the learning of others. A low affective filter is desirable since it impedes or blocks less of the necessary input. So the more this filter is not activated, the more this filter is absent, the more is the possibility of learning. Three kinds of affective or attitudinal variables are related to second language acquisition when it comes to the natural approach. Number one is motivation. Learners with high motivation generally do better when it comes to learning L2. Self-confidence is the second key. Learners with self-confidence and a good self-image tend to be more successful. And the third parameter is anxiety. Low personal anxiety and low classroom anxiety. The more relaxed is the environment of the classroom, they are more conducive to second language acquisition according to the natural approach.